Let's do it.
Sam Gagnon has just tied a record with 8 points in the game.
This is Sam Gagne, and you're listening to the Real Life Podcast.
Gagne,
2 points.
what a win for the Oilers.
Hands are always tight.
Welcome into the Real Life Podcast. Yeah, Sam Gagne, for those of you listening through the intro, did have 2 points in his first game down in Bakersfield. Also, we put out the video clip of me throwing my hand in front of your mic from a couple episodes ago. It's very funny.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it's
I
funny.
like
yeah,
that you
what-
called it being dadded.
Yeah, I got dadded.
dadded
You're like,
Yeah,
I
I
got
dadded me. My
fathered me.
my dad used to reach over and grab the steering wheel all the
When
time.
you were doing a podcast?
When you were driving?
Yeah, thinking like I was driving off the like it was driving fucking crazy.
This is what you're triggering, Tyler, so be careful.
I know,
Exactly.
but my driving with my dad stories. So like my mom taught me how to drive because my dad more or less refused. And I remember one time my mom was at home. I was like, Dad, can you take me to practice driving before my test, whatever? And we went to a parking lot. I'd been driving on the road with my mom. My dad let me go to a parking lot with him. We drove in an empty parking lot for 3 minutes, and he was just freaking up and like, stop, why you brake? And I was like, you know what? Let's just go home,
That's
Dad.
so funny you say that. I was driving to men's league hockey game in the River Creek parking lot. They got a lot of real estate there.
Yeah.
And I saw a guy standing there, and he had set up pylons for the child that he was teaching to
Yeah.
drive to like parallel park and to like drive around. They had set up like a whole course. They were taking up a huge portion of this. It's actually pretty smart.
Are you like excited to teach your kids how to drive? Or are you going to be like, no, not my job?
I'm a nervous wreck, and it's like 14 years.
My dad doesn't let me drive anywhere. Like even if he's at my
there's
house,
a pecking order in the Uremchuk house.
I know, but like if we're at my house and like have to go somewhere, he'll like be like keys and like he'll drive the truck.
Don't take your dad's manhood away from
I
him.
know.
So I don't know. I haven't really thought about it, but if I had to put something to it, it would be like I'm a nervous wreck around our cars, even though I know my wife is a great driver.
Mm-hmm.
If for some reason I can't park in the driveway that night and I'm parked, or I'm not in the garage, I'm on the driveway, she leaves very early and I just worry about her noticing. So I will like literally put a sticky note on her steering wheel that says I'm parked on the driveway. You know what I mean?
That's insane.
So I know. But so I'm worried that I'm going to be like that with them and not give them the freedom to learn.
Let them breathe,
How did you
bro.
guys, like I remember how the very first time I ever drove was my parents were out of town. My cousin was taking care of me and my sister. And my sister was 15 years old and I was 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And she was going to learn how to drive standard. And so we went out in her my cousin's little car, and she was trying to teach my sister, but I was laughing in the back. I was an asshole, 13 years old, making her nervous. And she just finally snapped and was like, "You think you could do better?" And I was like, "Yeah, I honestly do." And my cousin was like,
You're like,
to
"Me,
her
I'm
credit-
shit-faced."
To our credit, this cousin also later on used to, boot for us. So she
Good
was
cousin.
very cool. She was like, "Let's give it a go." 13 years old. And so I stepped behind the wheel and I learned how to drive standard that day at 13. And I wasn't really that nervous, to be honest with you. It was actually
Well, not because you're excited.
you're kind of excited, but I didn't really understand the consequences of my actions.
Yes.
At that point.
Yeah.
So after that, driving, just I don't really remember fully like my first time behind the wheel at 14 with my dad when you had your learner's permit. I just remember that was a big deal. Did anybody here pass like their legit driver's license first time?
Oh, so
I did.
yeah, I did too.
I did.
Which like the actual
Like
driving
the actual
test? Yeah.
16-year-old driver's license test.
My dad took me to learn how to parallel park an hour before my exam.
You didn't do like was there driver's
How'd you
training or
do?
whatever?
Never done it. I did driver's school. Screw that.
You had to. I thought you had to.
No, you get a break on insurance if you do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I still remember the guy's name. I do not know why I remember the guy's name. Len Cuglietta. He picked me up in his car and we went for a drive for an hour, like 5 times to get that driver credit.
Yeah.
And then you had to pass your test. I thought that was mandatory. That was not mandatory.
Not mandatory, no. I remember in my driver's training class, like the first one where you have to go sit and like learn stuff, there were people in there who already had their licenses and were just in there to try
to get demerits down.
No, they were trying to get the insurance break. They were like, oh, yeah, it'll save
I
you
thought
like
that you could, if you got demerits, for like getting actually pulled over and you get 3 demerits for like
maybe.
speed ticket.
Yeah, maybe,
I
yeah.
think you could go to do
like
a driver
community
training
service.
course.
Yeah, there's something
to
like
get
that. You
some
can
taken off.
Knock them off.
I used to run a bootleg Keys Please at Edmonton nightclubs, and I'd stand by the exit wearing a vest and a dress shirt, and people would say drive home, and that's how I learned to drive. Was driving drunk people's cars home for them, and taking a taxi back to the nightclub with the money I just made to learn to drive
I was
again.
from a really small town, so we just always drove. I think probably the first time I drove my dad's truck, I was probably 12. And then I used to just take it all the time when he was at work.
See, that's good living.
That small town.
Were you born in the 50s? How old are you?
Yeah.
As a kid, did you ever used to have like really ridiculous thoughts of what you want to do when you were older, and you were like, what am I good at? What am I really good at? At one point, I was like, I'm really good at driving fast. Maybe I could be like a race car driver. I was like 16 years old, not understanding how stupid that was.
Why is that stupid? Michael
I
Andretti
don't
thought
know.
those thoughts.
I thought I was
Because-
just playing the show at that time.
Usually you're driving go-karts at like 9 prep, like literally NASCAR drivers. If you think about, or you watch like a documentary of like a NASCAR driver, they were the best go-kart driver at like 10 years old.
They talk about those stories on F1 all the time. Where it's like Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc used to race each other when they were kids.
Yeah.
And I've never seen. I guess I don't know where they had like go-kart like championship race courses like
Or like
where
tryouts.
Where
to
does
join
one
the
go
league.
to kart?
like to like properly.
Yeah, properly.
Yeah, not like just going with your buddies or whatever. Where do you go to train? That's
You just
a
get
good
enough
question.
speeding tickets, the police pull you over, but rather than a ticket, they hand you a pass, and then you're like promoted into being a race car driver.
Yeah.
That's a couple things that we did at the ages between of like 18 to 22 that we would do once in a while, but we never did enough, and it was always fun. Things like go-karting, paintballing, that shit was always
Paintballing
fun.
is fun.
It's always
great.
fun. But you never
never do it.
You
Hurts
do it
too
like
much.
once every 3 or 4 years.
And every time you're like, why don't I do this all the time?
Why don't we come here all the time? I remember there was like that.
What, you want paintball every day? You can't have cotton candy for every meal, for fuck's sake.
No,
You
it's
wake up in the
true.
morning and paintball all day long. You'll be like, there you go, another day paintballing. There it is.
Paintball
Chalmers,
was like that.
Organize it. Let's go paintballing.
Go
I
pro.
would love to. There's that feeling when you're paintballing where you're legit nervous.
Yeah.
Like you legit feel like you're in a war zone.
I don't want to get shot. Yeah,
I don't want to get
Yeah,
shot.
yeah.
because it hurts.
It's
Yeah.
kind of exhilarating.
It's exhilarating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when
But
you
like-
hit somebody, you feel like a sniper.
Oh,
The best.
especially up close.
So when we were in Calgary for our kids hockey tournament, and I was thinking about this, we did the downhill like go-karting that they have at Olympic Park now. They have these sleds. They're like,
Oh, I did that too.
It's like a luge.
super cool, man.
Yeah.
Like on the cart, the handlebars, if you push them way forward or way back,
It's just like
it slows you down and it like breaks you. But if you keep them at the perfect spot, that's when you can get the most amount of speed.
Yeah.
It takes you about a quarter of the track to really get the hang of it. But like after you get the hang of it, you just start to think about the best lines.
Yeah.
You're like, how can I take this corner to get maximum speed?
Yeah.
And inevitably you run into like a group of 6 or 7 people, and then it's like
Jammed up.
you're on the yellowhead and can't pass people.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Those ones at West Ed are fun. Those rip.
I haven't gone on those yet.
What's at West Ed?
The go-karts. I don't know if they're still there.
It's by
The indoor
Galaxy
ones.
Land. Yeah.
It's in the old West 49 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, something
Why
like
don't we do this more?
that. Yeah.
We should
Those
do
rip.
team
Speeders
go-kart.
is also fun.
Yeah.
Peter's great.
I saw a video on Instagram where these 2 people were doing it, and the one person legit flipped over.
That's actually kind of my concern. Like you're going somewhat fast.
They should merge
You get
paintball
hurt.
and go-karting.
Yeah. Drive-by.
That's Mario Kart. Oh no, yeah, basically Mario Kart. Could you imagine if Disneyland? I've heard of some of the rides at Disneyland, and like the Star Wars one is they spent like $60 million or something on this Star Wars experience.
Yeah.
If you could legitimately have like some Mario Kart style,
Get hit by a blue cart and die.
You can do Mario Karting in Tokyo,
You can.
but not with like weapons and shit. But you can drive around carts in downtown Tokyo.
Oh, that's right. Like on the streets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we do this stuff more?
It would be cool actually.
Let's
Like
go to Tokyo, guys.
Tokyo.
you get a high tech enough cart that like can sense. Like if you drive over a banana that's maybe there, like it spins you, slows
A
you down.
virtual banana.
Yeah. Virtual banana. Maybe.
Bagman, how you feeling?
Wait, before that, today's podcast is brought to you by Alberta Blue Cross. We're going to share some memories that the 2 of you made last night, but there's only one thing better than sharing memories. It's making new ones. Alberta Blue Cross Travel Insurance protects your memories and more wherever your travel takes you, like to Rogers Place for a Tool concert. Visit ab.bluecross.ca/travel.
That's where you guys were last night.
And Wanye.
My brothers were there.
Oh, you guys all went together?
I went and ran into Dean. Well, I
saw
ran into
Diener?
Jer. Saw Diener.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm like, you like Tool?
My older-
He's like, clearly you haven't been to my house. And I'm like, okay.
My brother is a very, very into music and very into like different types of music. And he loves Tool.
That's the thing.
And
You
then
only love Tool or you don't like
my
them?
brother-in-law loves Tool. And so they went to this. My actual brother drove in from Calgary yesterday afternoon just to go to the concert with my brother-in-law. And
Great show.
Yeah, they said it was
unbelievable.
good.
Oh, I'm
Unreal.
still reeling from it.
do you remember one of their albums where they had like the last song? Remember when it was cool to like hide a song?
Yeah,
on
on
an album?
Undertow.
Yeah.
They
And
said, I think they've had it on a few though.
Yeah.
And so,
I
like,
think
14 minutes later, all of a sudden, it's like this weird thing about like the carrots and
That's
it was
Undertow.
so eerie. If you listen to it, like
Yeah, the
maybe
harvest.
after a hoot or two, and it was a little dark in the room, that one became very scary.
It was great.
So you let her go on a Wednesday night, last Wednesday of the week.
Well,
You guys let her buck? Are you feeling it?
Well,
Is that why your eyes are a little glassy?
we're with Uncle Carrie and we were living #red wine lifestyle.
Oh, you guys.
it was good wine too, and I was just like down the hatch, and then Carrie would be like, "You need a top up," and I'd be like, "Okay."
I guess you don't pair wine with your shows, huh? Doesn't seem like two would be the
We were drinking
optimal
Maynard
spot
wine,
for a red wine.
The lead singer like owns a vineyard.
so we were
So
drinking,
we're drinking
wine.
his
He got
wine.
specially brought into
yes.
the concert so he could drink it.
Yeah.
And cheers Maynard with his own wine.
No.
He was having a ceremony of his
Yeah,
own.
it was. Oh yeah, Uncle Carrie was in fine form
He was
last
into
night.
it.
He was so excited,
Yeah,
which
we were,
made me even more
We were
excited.
DMing at like 2 a.m.
Oh, that is good.
How did you make it into work today?
I messaged them
impressive.
how the show was, and at 11:30 they were still there. Like, was it a late show?
They went on at like 8:30. They were like just 2 solid hours.
Yeah, 2 solid hours for sure.
Tool's funny because, like, if you were to ask, if we all, not the people that went to the concert, but if we had to name a Tool song, I don't think I even could.
I couldn't.
Ask Wanya about it.
I'm like, Uncle Carrie's like, hey, do you want to come to this? One of my buddies can't come. I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like there's people who really love Tool and they should have this chance. And he's like, no, it's fine. Like, come with us. All the boys are going. I'm like, okay. So I'm like driving around doing stuff. I'm like, I know Tool. I'm driving like, that lead singer guy. He did the Facebook soundtrack. Trent Reznor. Yeah. Tool, right?
Nope.
I know. So then I'm like, wait a minute. That's 9 Inch Nails. So then I go to the show last night. I did not know 1 second of the music, but I kept thinking of 9 Inch Nails songs I'd like to hear throughout the entire concert. I'm like, maybe they'll play Closer to God. It's like, nope, that's also 9 Inch Nails. For some reason in my brain, Tool and 9 Inch Nails are on the same matrix. It's like music I don't necessarily listen to, but I respect how good they are at what they do.
Yep.
And Tool, like their visuals, their
Visuals are
lasers.
insane.
What the fuck? It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I want to go
really
see him
cool.
again. Like I wanted
Ridiculous.
more. I wanted more.
So, do you know something I've seen on Instagram recently? Is videos keep popping up of bands that are really super famous, but these are videos from like their first shows at like a high school.
Oh, like
I
Rage
saw
Against
one
the
of
Machine.
Green Day. Rage Against the Machine
Yeah,
is the
well,
one I
it's
saw.
Zach
today.
De La Rocha doesn't even come out.
Yeah, man. And the Green Day one is so good because like everybody's not really paying attention, but they're legit. Like they're playing one of their like hits. I don't know
banger.
what it's called, but then the Rage Against the Machine.
They're
one,
doing Killing in the Name
It's Killing in
in
the-
front of like 5 people.
and you don't understand how absolutely musically fantastic that song is right off the bat. The transitions that they have, the way it's amazing, and they're doing it for nobody
Yeah.
at an outside like venue.
Yeah.
It's really, really, yeah. So when you say, I think the 9 Inch Nails and Tool, I mean, Venn diagram, they're right in the middle.
Well, they're like very eccentric, gifted lead singers that aren't playing by society's rules.
Like Maynard was not at front of the stage at all.
It never is.
He's
I
above
found that
on a
amazing.
box, and there's
What
not
else
even
has he
lit.
done other than Tool? Like, I don't know much about this
He's
guy.
in that band, Perfect Circle.
Okay.
He owns the Arizona
Pussifer?
Cardinals.
Well, he doesn't.
Really?
Like that.
The Bidwells.
He might. Well, he's into jiu-jitsu now.
There it is. That's what I was thinking of.
I heard last night we got a peak bagged milk drunken wander story.
Yeah, I wonder.
Twice you wandered.
Yeah, I wonder.
You wandered once for like you were gone for 20 minutes, and the last time you were gone for like an hour. And you said you were like 3 blocks away from you left the building. You're like 3 blocks away, and then you realized you thought we had all left together.
Yeah. Well, because the first time I went to Wander, because I was jealous of your hoodie.
Ah,
So I'm like, I'm going to go check out the merch. And then I wandered to go get the merch. Line was crazy. I'm like, nope, not happening. Not standing in the line. And then the second time, I thought you guys left.
And here's what I did,
and we had
Chalmers.
never moved.
I hadn't been in one of these boxes before, and I thought I had a bathroom in it. And so everybody was sitting at the table, and it was all dark in the suite because the concert was going. And I went into the closet thinking it was a bathroom.
Wow, yeah.
I wasn't even drunk.
And he saw it through.
And I was like, yeah, I shit right in the corner.
This whole closet's a urinal.
But like, then I came back
you guys
out.
weren't in Uncle Carrie's normal seats?
No, you got a box.
I had to play it off though, Chalmers. I had to play it off like I was getting a jacket out of the closet. I'm like, oh, there it is. Like I'm wearing a jacket already. Like, okay, this totally isn't a
How many
bathroom.
people do you think? I guarantee people have peed in there.
Oh,
Guaranteed.
for sure.
I'm blown away.
During concerts, it is so dark in the back of those things.
Yeah.
Ties into my next segment. We're gonna do strangest spots you've pissed.
Oh, my wife's bottom drawer of her.
Pause.
That's a generous guy.
Not a good one. I literally, was in the closet.
We had a buddy.
Oh,
He passed out, and then he got up and sees a sleepwalker, slept onto his parents' bedroom, and pissed on the nightstand beside
but they had a garbage can with a plastic bag next to it. And so when he veered to the left, he hit the plastic bag, and that's what woke up his mom.
It was the sound of the piss hitting the bag. And it woke up. I remember I was driving to school, and he's like, "Can I move in with you, man?" I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Well, I pissed my parents' nightstand last night. I think they're gonna kick me out." Even though he's not talked to them, he's just like, he did it. He like was so embarrassed. He like left the house, did not touch base with them, and he's like, "So I guess I gotta find a place to live." Also, the same guy who's connected to the Husky story that I
was just gonna say
said.
that, but we're not going to say that. But yes, this guy's got some bathroom stories.
He's a sleepwalker. I've woken up. I shared a room with him once, and I woke up to him walking, trying to walk through the door, and then would take a step back, and then try to walk through the door and take a step back. It was the creepiest thing ever.
In a hotel, right?
No, at a buddy's house.
Oh, I've done that in hotels, like where you wake up. I've literally woken up standing there and being like in front of the closet, thinking I was at the bathroom, but I wasn't, and I didn't know where I was. Holy, because it's pitch black. You don't know where the light switches are. Nothing. So you're just in like no man's land. Did
I wake up blind again?
Yeah, you're like walking around with your hands wide out.
This
trying
same
to figure out where the hell you are.
All right, this same buddy, this guy is fucking an epic sleepwalker. He's on the road.
God.
He's on the road at a conference, and he walks out. He sleepwalks out of his hotel room and locks himself out, but still doesn't. But he has to pee. He's trying to go pee, but he walked out of his hotel room, so he walked out of it naked.
Yep.
And,
into the stairwell.
He ended up there, and then went to proceeded and found a bowl in like a janitor's closet and peed in it.
Yeah.
And then was like, now and that's where he came to, and he's like, "What do I do now? I'm naked," and he's like 3 floors below where his room is, so he doesn't know that. He thinks he's trying to go to his room.
In a janitor's closet?
He was in a janitor's closet, so he peed in the bowl.
Bags.
But he went 3 floors down to get to that janitor's closet, buck naked from his room. So then he goes and then comes to, because he comes out of his sleepwalkingness, and he goes to the staircase, and he's like, "Well, what do I do?" So he just nuts up, and like it's literally, and goes and gets on the phone and calls security, and gets security meets him naked, and they escort him to his room and let him in.
Have towels in the gym.
I'd be like, I'm a male prostitute.
There might have been. He might have found a towel to like kind of hide his business. It's epic.
If you know you sleepwalk and you're in a hotel, maybe don't sleep naked. Just saying.
Yeah, wear your jeans to bed.
Yeah,
tape your room key to your shoulder.
The classic jean sleep.
Yeah.
Duct tape your room key to your hand at all times.
Yes.
Room key in the prison wallet every night.
I know one place you can always keep a spare.
Somehow lock yourself into your hotel room. He's got a second story, and I can't remember the details. It's more recent, but anyways.
No, that's going to be very unnerving. Was the most recent one.
Oh, is it? Oh,
that is the most recent one.
Well, he's got 2. I might have just combined 2 stories into one. Then it's very epic.
Wondering what you'll get up to while you're asleep. Like, that's not a good feeling.
Yeah,
I'm very happy I don't sleepwalk.
I used to sleepwalk when I was a kid, and it used to freak me out because I would wander around our house and turn all the lights on. That was the thing that I used to do.
That's good fun.
Thankfully, I grew out of it, but I was always paranoid about sleepwalking.
I've never sleptwalked, but my son sleptwalked about a week and a half ago, and there's that myth that people say that don't wake up a sleepwalker. It could be bad.
Yeah.
if you encounter a sleepwalker, you don't really think of that because you don't know that they're sleeping. Right? Like, you can't tell.
Aren't their eyes shut?
No, that's the worst part. Not really.
They're moving.
What the fuck?
Well, they're not just, right? Because they're not just guessing where they're walking.
Corners.
Not really, man. His eyes were fully awake. I went to bed. It was like 11 o'clock, and he came into our bedroom, and I was just half asleep. So I looked up. I'm like, hey, buddy, what's up? And he's like, can I go to bed now? And I'm like, what? And then my wife wakes up and looks at him, and I'm like, oh, my God, she's going to think that I didn't put these kids to bed or something. And I'm like, yeah, of course you can go to bed. And so we start walking up the stairs, and he starts walking into the kitchen. And his eyes are fully open, but he's not making any sense. No sense.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I just didn't think about it. And I just was like, hey, man, wake up. Buddy, wake up. Understand what you're doing. And then it clued into me, don't wake up a sleepwalker. I don't think that's a thing. If it's a true sleepwalker, maybe. But in this situation, I believe that he snapped too. But I don't understand. They say they get dangerous or something.
Good. This kind of unrelated, but I have a buddy, his now wife is a very bad sleep talker.
Oh, that's me. When I drink.
So there was one night they'd kind of just moved in together, and he goes, I kind of roll over right here talking. I look, she's sitting straight up in the bed. They just moved into this house, and she goes, there's someone in here.
Oh my God.
And he freaks the fuck out and hit a bat under the bed or whatever. So he's like, I get up and I grab the bat, and then she just goes back to bed. And he's like, are you fucking serious?
You've always said you're a sleep talker, but we've shared rooms.
You must be a heavy sleeper. I literally slept talk last.
Have you heard it?
After the home opener? I went home, I had a few drinks, I went to bed, and I wake up, and I was like, holy shit, between you and Crawford last night, you yelling at the top of your lungs and waking up Crawford and have her yelling. I had a night.
The scariest night.
I wasn't. Sometimes I say words. Sometimes I just yell.
One of the scariest experiences I've ever had, waking up in the middle of the night to somebody sleep talking or sleepwalking or sleep doing anything, was with JR. And it was, our friend had a condo, and if you can picture a double sliding door, we made a bedroom. We basically put a mattress.
It's like a pantry
in that. It was like a pantry. It was wide, so you could put a mattress in there, so we could sleep more people, because we always used to crash there. And I woke up to some yelling, and I slid open the door, and I looked at JR, and he was laying in the bed holding the back wall up. And he's like, it's falling. I can't keep it from falling. And I was like, what are you doing? What's falling? And he's like, it's falling. You gotta help. It's falling. And I panicked. And I was like, okay, man. Okay. And I put my hand on the wall. And I look at him. I'm like, what are we doing? And I had no idea what was happening. And he looked at me and calmly was just like, thanks, man. And went back to sleep. And I woke up in the morning, and he, at the time, was working at Safeway. And he was dreaming that the shelf
was falling down.
was falling on him, and he was trying to hold it up. And I was like,
that's my greatest fear, working the pop and chip aisle.
I laid in bed after he went back to sleep. I laid there and was wide-eyed to the ceiling, being like, what the fuck just happened? Yeah. I was so scared, and because he was when you shriek, when somebody's yelling, it's
yeah.
But when they have a shriek in their voice of actual terror, you kind of get
them dream cans were about to fall.
It was insane.
Fuck around.
Tyler, have you heard Jay talk?
Well, I was gonna say, BM, I feel like you and I haven't, because we're usually hammered when we sleep in the same room.
Well, that is true.
That's when
I'm drunk, I'm
in Seattle.
Out.
Maybe.
Do you know what? To this day, JR, count on one hand, and it's a closed fist how many times we've shared a room together, and it is for a reason.
Oh, we haven't shared a room?
Never.
Oh, wow.
Because I can't deal with you anymore. It's too much. The snoring. We probably have. When you came into our room one night, probably because somebody else had passed out another one. Anyways. Yeah. That's a long time to talk about sleep stuff.
Yeah.
But it's crazy.
Tool concert, man.
Tool concert.
Great time.
Can't imagine you had a good sleep after a Tool concert. It was it was a tough night.
Was
it nice being in Rogers Place when something good was happening?
It was good to experience some joy.
I think we
in
all
Rogers
made
Place.
that joke.
Oh, did you last night?
I think so. Yeah,
okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into some Oilers talk then. Today it is brought to you by DoorDash, the big dish on what's going on with the Oilers. Our Canadian listeners, for a limited time, can get 25% off and 0 delivery fees on their first order of $15 or more. Download the DoorDash app and enter the code NATION25, all caps in that one. Let DoorDash be your holiday hack.
Ding dong.
Oilers, yeah, ding dong. The Oilers still only have one win. Not ideal.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, we were talking about this on Own Every Day. I still don't know what to feel.
It's a weird feeling.
Not great.
It's an uncommon feeling to have expectations this high coming off of a season that was successful.
Yep.
In my mind. To then, and I know it's only, what is it, 1-5-1?
1-4-1.
1-4-1. 6 games, not the end of the world, but there's no bright light at the end of the tunnel. Unless we know that Connor's coming back for Sunday.
Skated today.
He's playing.
I think you were right.
Woodcroft has
Last
some
show,
he said
I
he's
think
having
you were right.
news after the game. He was very cryptic today, Woody was.
Nice.
Post-skate.
Did the moves that they made in the offseason make this team worse?
There was one move they made.
Exactly. Did it make it worse?
Yeah, so this from Daniel Nugent-Bowman. Sounds like Oilers captain Connor McDavid skated on his own this morning. No update from Jay Woodcroft about his status for Sunday's Heritage Classic. The coach said he'd have an update after tonight's game. You're not telling everyone you have an update after tonight's game if either Connor McDavid's playing tonight and they're not telling us.
Shut down for the season.
Why would you even say that? That's a terrible thing to say.
As I'm trying to
But you
do
don't
the opposite right now.
I know, but the point is, if you're Woodcroft, you don't come out and be like, I'll have an update after the game tonight. If the update is terrible news, you just get that out of the way this morning.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And he wouldn't skate today. That's also why I
Yeah.
said it. It's obvious that's not the case.
So we look at the Wild game. Clearly,
Fine for 40
frozen
minutes.
frenzy. Every team
For how long?
plays.
40 minutes.
You thought the Oilers played good in the second period.
Actually, I take
we
that
were
back.
getting caved.
I take that back. Jack Campbell played well. In the
Yes.
second period.
Every team plays. We are in the lead for worst loss of the night. 2-7-4 losses that night. And I look at it and I try to look at positives. So let's do the thing that we don't normally do. Let's look at a positive. What are some positives that came out of the Minnesota game? Kane, feisty.
Yeah,
Gordie
Kane,
Howe hat trick. You love to see it.
yeah,
Love to
Kane.
see it.
Yeah, it was Kane activated a little bit.
Fogel playing, making the
Contract
most of
year
his
Warren
minutes.
Fogel is
Elite.
moving.
Making the most of his minutes.
But it's wild, though. Why did he only play 13:38? It didn't make any sense to me. 'Cause he
Maybe
was
that's all you. Maybe if you do that, you get 2 goals.
buzzing. Maybe.
Janmark, number 13.
Janmark
Hard to get-
looked
hard to
good,
get
man.
used to, but
No, Janmark looked good. I'm not saying like I'm happy he's on the first line, but like he was fine. He's not the reason why we lost that hockey
when
game.
you see the line combos for tonight's game, what's the first reaction you have?
I see Evan Bouchard properly slotted into the lineup.
But you
He
said you
should
were going to
be
talk
on the
about
third pairing for sure. I'm nervous about Broberg getting bumped up top 4.
I don't know if I am.
Swedish connection.
Just because it can't be
Swedish
much
berries.
worse.
Well, that is fair.
I think when they let 5 goals in the third period, that was when it went bad.
That's true.
The Oilers scored 4 goals and needed 4 more if they wanted to win that hockey game. Not great.
And then I think when they set like a 300-year NHL record for 3 too many men penalties in one game.
Look, what are you doing?
LA had 2 last season.
What are you doing? How does that happen?
But the worst
3
part
times?
about it is there was a couple close calls as well.
I said that on Owen every day. I was like, they actually could have easily had 5 or 6.
They should have just let it fly. Should've
If
went
the
for
name
10.
of the game is who can get the most too many men penalties, we to goat.
Oilers won.
Yep. We're undefeated.
That's not the purpose of hockey. You get to score the most goals.
Did you find yourself tuning into the baseball game more than the hockey game that night?
Yeah. I was demoralized. Like, I was watching that game when they gave up the 2 goals in the third. I was like, well, they're not coming back.
Nope.
We're good.
I did a beatcast that night, and there was 800 live viewers watching the first probably 10 minutes. People were mad.
Wow.
Mad.
People weren't happy.
By the way, Tyler said, go do a beatcast. I'll jump on with you like old times. And then you fell asleep.
And then I fell asleep in bed. Yeah.
Did you sleepwalk?
I do like the idea of pulling your goalie super early.
Me too.
I really
Literally
think
or metaphorically?
How early? First period?
we should have probably done it like the 4-minute mark.
Of the first?
Probably.
Get it out of the way early?
Get it out of the way early.
When we had the lead?
That's a smart coaching play. Get the lead, pull your goalie, and make your guys defend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave the goalie out for 5 minutes, then you put the goalie back in, and then they're so relieved to have a goalie again, they won't be scored on the remainder of the night.
I have something that I think was viewed as controversial when I gave this take. I don't think we're being hard enough on the goalies of the Oilers. And I have the numbers to back it up, or I had the numbers the other day on the show. The Oilers have a .620 high danger save percentage. Dead last in the NHL. Second worst in the NHL is a 720.
Wow.
They are a full point back of second worst. There are only 6 teams in the league who have a 5-on-5 high danger save percentage below 800. The Oilers are almost below 600. Whoa. And I know everyone loves to be like, well, they're giving up too many good chances, blah, blah. And I said, I feel like that's like a trauma reflex from Oilers fans because we haven't had an elite goalie in like 30 years.
Sure. Yeah, but like, I like that Minnesota game, just to isolate to one game, I don't care who was in that.
Gump Worsley
but then you watch and like Philip Gustafsson is stopping guys on breakaways and stopping Fogel and Janmark on breakaway. I know, but still.
Our 2 worst breakaway guys.
I know.
Is there any merit to this philosophy of we've harped on our goalie situation for so long, and then seemingly in the middle of the year last year, we were like, okay, Skinner's number 1. Yep. We've got one. It felt good to have that. It felt good to not bitch about the goalies so much anymore, that now that we're back in a position where we have 2 goalies that can be number 1s, and we don't want to regress back to that feeling.
I think so. The Oilers have the 6th best scoring chances against per 60 in the NHL. 6th best at preventing scoring chances against at 5-on-5.
Wow. And yet we're getting
which I struggle believing because I watch the game.
I know, and I think it's just I do think they aren't that good at it. I think the numbers are a little skewed, but I also think it's because, again, we're watching the games from an Oiler perspective, where when you flip it the other way and you're like, wow, the Oilers are playing really good. Like in that first period against Vancouver in the home game, when they came out just guns blazing, Vancouver was turning over pucks everywhere. They could not break out of their zone. They could not keep possession in the Oilers zone. They were flat out bad, but we view it as, hey, look, the Oilers are finally playing good, right? And last night, I'm sure the Minnesota Wild and their fans are sitting there going, our top line, that's our top line. They just ran their show. What were the Oilers going to do, right? I just think the Oilers goalies could bail them out a little bit more. Other teams' goalies bail them out consistently. Connor Hellebuck gave up 2 goals early and then was like, oh yeah, shit, I'm the best, and shut them down for the final 40.
Think we could trade Jack Campbell for Connor Hellebuck?
If you ask nice enough.
Is that all it takes?
Yeah. Anyways, that's just kind of my 2 cents on it. I agree Bouchard has been junk. I agree pretty much the entire blue line except for Darnell Nurse has been junk this year.
Nurse-Ceci pairing has been the best by far.
It's been fine, yeah.
It's crazy.
Like you can actually build off of that, but
yep.
We just aren't.
You know what isn't being pointed to as one of the reasons the Oilers are off to a slow start? The very low count of Reed Schaefer's in the lineup.
True.
He would know what to do, Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
He'd put the team on his back. He'd make a few key saves just to chip in. Team guy.
Reed Schaefer,
shot or 2.
Reed Schaefer, pointless in 4 American League games this year. -1.
Johnny stats. What those don't tell you, those zeros.
How red his hair is.
Be a happy face. He is playing great. And they don't have a television deal, so we can't see him under any circumstances. But if the Nashville Predators AHL team did, where are they played of?
Milwaukee.
Fantastic.
I want to go to Milwaukee.
Why?
Giannis just got paid.
I feel like it'd be a cool city. I like
to go to a Brewers game.
Yeah.
Go down the slide?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? Reed Schaefer?
Mm-hmm. Bet you he's at a ton of Brewers games. Maybe. Bet you Reed Schaefer's a Bucks season ticket holder. That's what he did with his signing bonus.
Oh, yeah.
I'm getting Bucks tickets.
Yeah.
Texting the coach, hey, can't come tonight. There's a big Bucks game.
Big Bucks game.
Bucks are hosting LeBron. I don't want to miss it.
Always has such fun stories. Like you see the James Harden thing where he showed up to the team plane to go on their road trip, and they're just like, "Nope, you're not allowed on the plane."
That Giannis guy with the big long name with an A just signed like a 3-year deal for like $168 million and says in his press conference, "I don't even know how much I signed for."
Yeah, but
Classic.
the best ever when they asked him about his contract negotiations, he goes, "I don't even think about it. I don't care about money. I only care about big money." And you're just like, "Oh, Giannis, you're so cute."
His brother plays in the team too, right?
Yeah. No, I think all 3 of them are in the league now. All
There's
3.
a third one?
I think there's 3 Antetokounmpos, yeah.
Say the last name again.
Giannis Antetokounmpo. Anyways, I don't want to bury what Bagnoke brought up. The James Harden thing is objectively hilarious.
Why didn't they let him on the plane?
Maybe because he went to a club and hired the bottle service girls to hold up light up signs that say Daryl Morey's a liar. Or at his basketball camp with kids and a bunch of media around, he said, quote, Daryl Morey is a liar. I will never play for a team that he's a part of. And then stopped and said, let me say it again, and repeated the same sentence. That might be why Daryl Morey doesn't want him on the team.
At the same time, they told him to report to the team, and he did.
Yeah.
And then he reports to the plane, and then they're like, you can't be here. Like, they're fucking with
Probably
each
because
other.
they're trying to like find a way to cancel
What
his
are
contract.
they saying that Daryl Morey lied about?
that he would trade.
Traded for the season.
Yeah, he was going to get traded for the season, and then he didn't trade him. So James Harden's like, all right, fuck you.
I don't know why anybody would want to trade for James Harden.
God, man, he's
The
just
Knicks will trade for him.
I heard he's pushing for a trade to the Clippers apparently. Yeah. Which is so funny in the NBA that you can be like, I'm not playing. You're a liar. I want to trade, but only to one other team. And the GM's like,
And the Clippers are like, we'll do this. He won't do this again.
Yeah, surely he won't do this
No,
to us.
this is one
because
and
it's
done.
been
But you get like 1 year out of him.
Oh, you get that great year.
Yeah.
where it's like, yeah,
And then
45
it blows
points
up.
a game. Like it's
Then
insane.
your owner's a liar.
GM. Can you imagine?
Owner.
Can you imagine Leon Draisaitl? Something comes out.
Ken Holland, you're a liar.
Ken Holland's a liar, and you're like, it's probably like that will never happen in the NHL. It's kind of shit. Or a player shows up and the team's like, not allowed.
Not in the plane. I've never heard of that happening before.
It is crazy. Although the Shane Pinto thing is pretty juicy by NHL
All
standards.
you got to do to get rid of him, by the way, is just start up a gambling account in his name.
Yeah.
Hames Jordan.
Yeah.
So I have seen a lot of things
On these
about
streets?
Pinto today. I don't know the player and I don't know the story. So break it down for me.
Shane Pinto was not playing yet this year.
He won the Hobie Baker over Dylan Holloway, despite our best efforts
We did
to
try.
sway the vote.
We did.
Yeah.
registered on mass to go to those schools.
So he's scored 20 goals last year. Young centerman, very, very good player. First round pick. He was not playing right now because he's an RFA and the Sens don't have cap space to sign him.
Okay.
He wants X amount of dollars. They can't afford it. They're basically in the same cap spot as the Oilers. Today, he was suspended 41 games for, quote, activities relating to sports wagering. In the NHL's release, it said the league's investigation found no evidence that Pinto made any wagers on NHL games.
So that's why I'm confused.
That's
Like,
what's mind blowing to
if
me.
he didn't bet on NHL games, what the problem be?
What's the deal?
You don't think he was betting on the HL, do you?
Maybe.
Nashville Predators farm team, a young, new player came from Edmonton.
I do like to do the all oily parlay where you do a Bakersfield Condors Oilers win parlay.
Maybe he was doing that. He was betting on the Belleville Bulls of the American Hockey League. But it is weird.
Belleville Bulls. That's how it sounded.
Okay. 41 games is like one of the biggest suspensions in NHL history. And if he didn't bet on NHL games, also the convenience of like the Ottawa Senators just kind of got a get out of jail free cap card here.
This is chestnut checkers cap circumvention.
So let's break down.
Because Chalmers, I got to
Okay,
tell you what happens
sorry.
now. What they're now saying, because they were trying to work. They had basically a deal in place.
Yeah.
For him, once they can unlock the cap space, and it would have been 2.5 or 3
They had to
million,
trade
something.
Matthew Joseph, then they could sign him.
Right, it was gonna be like 2.5, 3 million.
Okay.
Now, what happens is because of what this happening, he probably has to go and sign his qualifying offer, which is $874,000.
Is this the hardest nose negotiation of all time?
This is like, and so now all of
new
a sudden,
Sens owners like, do it.
with the 41 games, like he just fits. Don't have to sacrifice anything. Like there's a storyline.
And from his perspective, it's going to be like, okay, so no matter what I sign, I'm losing half of it. And I can't come back till halfway through the year. Also, the NHL just making up rules on the fly. Usually, if you are suspended, the suspension clock doesn't start until you are on an NHL roster. And the NHL now is saying they're going to retroactively start his suspension on October 1 and let it run 41 games, even though he's not on a roster, so that the Ottawa Senators get 41 games to figure out their cap situation, and then they can bring back Shane Pinto.
But
it's weird.
But by signing the QO, haven't they?
But he still would have to be on their roster and count towards their cap, and they can't afford that yet.
But they can send some guy down for that 775.
But they're in the same spot as the Oilers, where they only have 12 forwards, 7D, so they cannot, or they'd be playing short some nights.
You
So
guys want to
let's-
know what I heard?
Yeah.
I heard both the Oilers goalies are betting on sports.
Ooh. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
NHL, please reach out to me.
They're betting together. Not on NHL games.
And they keep rolling over the over
on their
every
goals
game.
against
Yeah,
on
they're betting
themselves.
against their goals against it.
I'll
I
bet
think
the
we
over.
found a way out of our dilemma, boys.
He
Yeah,
gets
Jack,
he
there's
gets
a big
the
overbet.
biggest suspension for gambling.
The first one in NHL history.
First one in NHL history.
Yeah.
If we go back in history and we think about a full year for... There's two players in the NFL that have been suspended recently for gambling. Jamison Williams
Got 6.
and Calvin Ridley. Jamison Williams got 6. Calvin Ridley got a full year.
And that guy on the Colts got a bunch too.
Yes.
Because there was a whole onslaught of like 6 guys who got it. But anyways, yeah, keep going.
But they all were deemed to have bet on the sport they play.
Yep.
You're telling me right now that he got a 41-game suspension, and the NHL saying, not because he gambled on the NHL, but just because he gambled.
They're
in
like not
general.
even saying he gambled. Like, it's very like loose language and vague.
And what's weird about this, Pinto's not appealing it. So like, whatever happened, I don't know.
Sounds like a plea bargain.
It sounds like this was like some sort of a. Well, they did say
worse.
I have no idea, but like
They're
again,
just like, hey,
We'll call it gambling.
He's calling it sports betting, but he's actually running like a cockfighting ring out of a house somewhere.
Yeah.
hey, Shane's gambling. What's he betting on baseball games? Maybe he had a line on the Phillies. No, sorry, we meant to say he's running a cock-rating ring out of his apartment in
$8 million
Canada.
worth of plutonium underneath his house.
Yes.
Anyways, it's really weird. That is a big, big suspension. But I also understand why the NHL did it, because this feels like maybe a bit of a scare
the tone,
tactic.
right?
Yeah, right? Like any other
like-
player, if you're thinking of it, don't.
Vander Kane had gambling things going on.
They investigated him and cleared him.
Casino.
Oh,
But he
so
know he
it's
hadn't.
fine, it's a casino.
Remember when his
you're allowed
ex-wife?
to-
She said he was betting on sharks.
Yeah, so that's why they investigated it. But Matt Larkin was explaining to me that the NHL hires like a firm out of England who like scrapes data and does all this stuff to like make sure.
Cambridge Analytica.
Yeah, right. It's just one guy sitting in a room. Like, did he do it? Yeah. Did he do it?
Alrighty. No.
Show me a picture. He did it.
Thompson and Thompson. Thompson with a P and Thompson without a P.
We scrape data. Do you? No. He did it.
He did it. Yeah. Guilty. Yeah. Anyways,
Casino
that's
fine. Betting on sports, no fine.
betting on your own sport bad. Betting on other sports also bad.
Appearing in a betting ad, good. Betting using the betting ad app, bad.
Also hilarious. Yeah, I don't know.
understand where the lines to be drawn.
There's a lot of every single like.
It's going
every-
to take a while for the sports leagues to get this sorted and get it right.
every second commercial.
Just don't.
I
You
see
can't bet
during-
on the sport you play in. That's just the rule.
That should be the rule.
Zachary Quinto did, and he got 41 games.
He didn't. Yeah.
So what are we doing? I don't know.
You can't bet even if you don't bet on your own.
So
He
for
didn't have
not
a contract. So, and the worst part about it is he's probably doing 8-leg parlays. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't have a contract, trying to get a little bit of money in.
Yeah.
So a job you don't have
Yeah.
is suspending you for betting on a sport that wasn't your own.
for a sport you're not allowed to play. You're not playing it right now.
He's told you to in an ad on TV.
He's sitting there watching his Sens game, and it's like, use the promo code SENS for a free $200 bet. He's
All
like,
right.
son of a bitch, that's free money.
I don't play hockey currently. Do
I mean, I'm not an accountant or anything, but I know that's free money.
Yeah.
I work in the NHL? No. I'll play.
Yeah, calls his agent. Hey, I'm not like in the NHL anymore, right? No, you're not. Interesting.
It just seems odd. The whole thing's strange.
He should go play in Europe for half season.
Leaked text between him and Brady Kachuk. Like, hey, man, I hope you have a
How
really
many
good game
NHLers do you
tonight.
think percentage of NHLers are like, oh shit, and just like got rid of their betting apps, got rid of their accounts?
I'm sure there's probably a few.
Oh,
Yeah.
it
There's
has
gotta
to
be.
be. Has to be more than a couple.
Let's guess who's guilty of crimes that haven't been convicted of it. It's
Yeah,
a
I
very
like
fun
that.
game.
Roster by roster.
Yep.
Yeah, let's just start with the.
You
start
name
with the
players and I'll tell you if they're guilty.
All right.
Seems like a real gambler.
You know what? Maybe we don't do this. Maybe this isn't great for the pod. You know what we are going to do,
Speculate
though?
on what NHL players have committed what crimes.
Yeah,
Hey.
now we're talking.
Yes. It's a bad segue. Zack Kassian announced his retirement?
Yeah, he
sure
did. Cassie announced his retirement today.
Sam Gagner outlasted
Have
him.
you ever been more happy for a player to finally not put their body / head through the things that they were doing? Zack Kassian, every time I thought about him, I thought about the mental struggles he's gone through, regardless of the concussions he's had.
Oh, that side of it. Okay, sure.
Now he's had concussions, and he continues to play the sport in a way where he's not scoring goals. He's getting punched in the head, or he's getting hit very hard. And every time I saw that, I thought, dude, there's not very many times I think of an athlete and say, it's time to sit down. And for him to finally understand that, retire, just go do something
Did he have
else, man.
concussion issues?
I don't think he did.
Yeah, I don't think he did, Charles.
Are you nuts? He
Maybe.
didn't have concussion issues? How many times did he get knocked out
Yeah,
on
there was
his...
like a couple of times where the lights went out.
Yeah. You telling me that's not
Really?
concussion issues?
Yeah, and his last year
Did you
with
just
the
get
Oilers.
out your
for
M
sure.
check to your M check?
I like
Should
no.
we play
I'm
that game where we figure out what
no. I
arena
lose.
we're in again?
I lose sleep over
or
that.
what day that is?
Not like in fights. He was getting hit.
Yeah, he got popped a couple of times where like lights out.
Lights
Oh, wow.
out. And like,
Oh, yeah.
I always thought that was
it's-
juju.
I thought it was well
Like factory
documented.
reset, lights out.
Yeah.
I didn't like Zack Kassian because he busted up Sam Gagner, and then when he came here, we all had to cheer for him. Bullshit.
And we give him that contract.
That was a mistake.
Honestly,
$23 million
a guy who has talked about his addiction problems, like mental health for him. He gets punched in the head on the regular. It's time to just like hang it up.
Take your money. You made
Just
whatever, 15 million your career.
Find
23
something
million.
else to do.
23 mils career earnings. Yeah, you're good, dude. Go live in Arizona and chill.
Yeah. So when I saw that, I was happy. It was like, you're not gonna try to hang around in the A. What I hope he doesn't do is go do ice wars or something at the River Cree where he just fights. They still do that?
He made $23 million.
Oh, I know, but there was guys that made money that still did it. Link Gates.
Yeah, the missing link.
All right, we're going to step aside for a quick break and then get to a segment. Chalmers has come prepared with a segment, everybody.
All right, Chalmers said not to interrupt this, okay?
Okay, but it's brought to you by
Century.
Century. Brought to you by Century Mile Racetrack and Casino Races every Friday and Saturday at Century Mile. Head down, couple spins, couple races, couple spins, couple races, buffet, couple races. Boom, there's your Friday night.
Little roast beef.
Yep.
Delicious.
Shout out to Century Mile. Chalmers, tell us more.
So that you don't get interrupted until you motion to bag milk and he hits one of the buttons with a comical noise and you get to choose. We won't talk until we hear the noise.
Do you have like anybody yelling 100?
It's getting hot in here.
It's good enough. It's good enough.
You have the floor.
You'll know when I'm done. Okay, so we have talked about doing segments. Keeping 100 is one that I think about. What did you say? I didn't even hear you.
Time's up.
So we've talked about it, and I decided that I'm going to do a Keeping It 100 every Thursday.
And you've prepped.
Something prepared. Okay? So, in my life, there's a lot of things that couples can do in a marriage to ensure its success.
All right.
Husbands come empty the dishwasher. Sure. Wife, could you spend less money on Amazon and stop having those boxes show up all the time? Sure. Husband, my family's come to stay with us over Christmas. All 6 of them. Sure. Put the toilet seat down, she says. Okay. Wife, leave me alone. I want to watch football on Sundays. Okay. All of those things you do with your wife to keep the marriage. There's one thing that me and my wife do that keep our marriage the happiest it can possibly be. And I'm keeping it 100. Don't interrupt it. I knew you. See, I told you there's going to be areas you could interrupt it. Don't interrupt it. Of all the things that me and my wife do to keep our marriage the happiest it could possibly be, I am keeping it 100 and saying that only one has been the most important decision we have ever made. And this one thing, in fact, will be the reason that we stay together forever. Separate duvets in our bedroom. This one act alone allows us the freedom of movement in what is supposed to be the most comfortable place on earth for a human to do the most important thing they have to do each day, and that is get some sleep. I knew you were going to do that. How do I know this has made a difference? Because every so often we go on a vacation, and due to the lack of resources being an extra blanket or an extra duvet, we have to share a blanket. Mm-hmm. And in those moments, I don't get the freedom to put it in between my legs, around my backside. Every movement I make wakes her up. Every movement she makes, every movement she makes wakes me up. And when I go to grab some extra covers that I so dearly need to be comfortable, they're not there. It's tight. She's using them. Okay. Back in the day, Randy Duvet decided it was necessary for the connection of couples to share a blanket. Keep you closer together, he said. Create a bond, he said. Easier to make the bed, he said. And like lambs to the slaughter, people followed. I am here to say nay, not today. I will not follow.
Fuck you, Duvet.
I will not follow, but I will lead. And if you are listening to this right now and you are skeptical, tonight, just try it. Grab an extra duvet, say to your husband or wife, let's do this for one night. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, you will go into the bathroom and you will look at yourself in the mirror and you will say, today is the beginning of the rest of my life. I will now, forever, keep it 100.
Wow. Randy Duvet.
Duvet times.
I like to picture you wrapped up like a little burrito.
Buddy, it's the best. Okay, so I do this thing. Where like if I sleep on my left,
Are they matching blankets or are they different colors? Like I've
different
got
colors.
questions.
She has her thing. I have mine. I like the blanket inside the duvet. I take the duvet off. It gets in the way. Sometimes it bunches up in one corner. It's just too much. Okay.
All right.
I like to keep it simple. I have my one blanket. And what I do is when I roll over, I put some of it in between my legs because I hate when my legs touch when I'm sleeping on my side.
Good for your hips and knees.
I grab the back corner of my blanket on the other side and I wrap it around, put it underneath my arm, and now I am fully cocooned.
Do you guys not use sheets? Or like
We don't have sheet. No,
top
We
sheet?
we don't have a top sheet. No,
I don't do that either.
no.
I don't
You're
like top
just
sheets
direct
either.
to blanket.
We're
There's
just
no-
direct to blanket. We're on a sheet,
on the sheet?
and then we have our big blanket. I have 4 pillows, which I have in rotation. She has 2.
4?
4. So this is how I do it. One pillow lays flat on the bed, as a normal pillow does. One pillow is in an L on whatever side I am sleeping. So I will kind of hold it. The third pillow will be in another L behind me,
Why don't you just hold your wife?
caressing. Because she's a furnace, man. Do you think I want a heating blanket all night?
No.
It will make me sweat. Sweating leads to itching.
your
Itching
wife.
leads to
No.
uncomfortable. Uncomfortable leads to no sleep.
I'm gonna try this because me missus is a blanket stealer.
You wanna know
And
what I do
I
with-
often get cold.
Yes. Yes. Guys, 4th pillow. You know what I do with it?
Go ahead.
I put it in between the nightstand and the bed because the cold air from the open window cools it. If I wake up in the middle of the night and my pillow's too hot, I simply exchange it for the other
You're
one.
running a system.
It's a whole system.
Wow.
Okay.
There's a lot going on here.
I'm
You do more
telling
work
you-
sleeping than I do awake.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, it is the single greatest thing one can do with their partner. If you're a common law, if you're a marriage, it does not matter. Just try it.
What if I like cuddling?
Then you are a weirdo. Who cuddles all night?
Me.
Nobody.
Now I'm in a throuple and I sleep in a cabin without power. Can I still play this game?
You can have your own duvet.
My wife's
You
boyfriend hates doing this.
My wife's husband Carl hates this kind of talk. I sleep under the bed in the box. Can I play?
Do you guys? Okay, so you're facing your wife, sleeping.
Yeah.
Your wife?
My wife, your wife.
I never did.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're this kind of podcast.
If you're laying towards your partner and you're sleeping, and you guys are sharing a blanket,
Yeah.
and there's that void in the middle where it's just open,
Yeah.
right? It's like a tent.
Yeah.
And then you go and you roll over and you try to pull the blanket tight.
Like it goes
but it's
taut,
tight.
like a trampoline.
Now all of a sudden, not only are you not comfortable, but you've gone and waken them up. Now
So-
you're both unhappy.
So the way we do it, Amber sleeps straight back, head up, and I wrap my arms around her, kind of like in a chokehold, and then what you do with the pillow, I have my leg across, and we sleep like that.
Have you ever asked her if she likes that?
I personally don't care. I sleep like a baby.
But now just do you like the feeling? Like, 'cause I imagine she gives off heat like a normal person.
Mm-hmm.
But does she give off heat to the point where you like the heat on your body? Some people like it. I like the cool of a cool pillow, of a blanket that's been untouched. So now I have a whole duvet cover. I use about half of it. I wake up in the middle of the night, kind of hot. You know what I do? Pull it over, cold duvet right there. That in there.
Bold.
I want to know what happened for you to roll over and be like, I'm going to talk about this on the podcast. You know what? I'm going to write something about this on the podcast. You are either indignant or looking to share what knowledge you have gained with the world. Which
Last
is it?
night, it was 11:05, and I was going to bed. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to prove to these guys that I can come up with a segment and I can keep to it. I can stick to it because I don't like the way that JR looks at me when we talk about this stuff. Laying in
one
bed,
for
I
one.
thought,
He's going
maybe-
to tell all his bedroom
maybe,
secrets.
what am I
One
going
at
to
a time.
keep it 100 with? And I looked over and I said, probably the greatest thing that's ever happened in my life. The greatest.
Not your children.
My children are fantastic.
Have their own
Are a
duvets.
benefactor of the 2 duvet system.
When they wake up, exactly. When they wake up in the middle of the night and I have to get up, there's nothing more annoying. When you're sleeping, you do not want anything to curb or to disrupt that sleep. And I'm telling you, you get your own little zone.
I sleep with my dog. How do I affect this? How
Get him his own duvet.
Is the dog on the duvet? On your...
Sometimes he's on.
How
Sometimes
often
he
do
curls
you
under.
pull it over and you want the covers that are underneath him and you kind of have to think like, ugh, now I got to make a concession
Most
here
of the
and I
time
don't
he's
like it.
sleeping under the blankets with his head on a pillow.
Which is great. Oh, like a human.
Yeah, it was like a person.
That's
Here's how I
adorable.
sleep here, Chuck. I get 2 hooks above the bed. I wear a backpack Whoever's sleeping with me wears a backpack too. We hoist them on the hooks and we sleep standing up. We've got 3-4 feet between us. And you wake up in the morning. Ah! Are you dead? No, I sleep standing up. Good morning to you.
If you are part of a horse, hey, you, the 2-Day crew, reach out to me. Tell me how great it is.
Can you send us a picture? I just want to see.
And if you have other marriage tips,
to 2%.
Absolutely. She likes having the dog in the bed too. I kick him out before I come. That's too much. It's getting hot. Before I come to bed, I kick the dog out. But I don't like the. You guys don't get like. If I know that the dog's been in the bed and on my covers, I will lay in bed and I will feel dog hair and itching on my face that isn't probably even there. Like,
are you allergic to dogs?
No, just like I can feel like a hair. You know when you got hair, you're just like, I gotta get rid of this hair. It's tickling my nose.
that was exceptional, and I hope all of these segments are this good.
Yeah, like
I'm gonna do it every Thursday.
Okay.
This is my.
I can't wait to see how you follow this one up.
Yeah.
Your
I
wife's
wrote
like,
this
are you
an
gonna tell
hour
all of
ago.
our bedroom secrets, Christopher?
No,
I think I can subscribe to this. Like I said,
you should try it. I'm just. You know what? I'm just here to help. I'm not asking you. No, wait. I'm not making you a better person. I'm just asking you if you want to be.
I remember my grandparents slept in separate rooms. And
My
as
grandparents
a young
did too.
man, young Wanya, I said to them,
no,
why do you
no,
guys sleep in separate rooms?
I've gone too far.
Identical time, they went, we want to. And that was it. That was the end of the conversation.
My grandparents did the exact same thing, and just because we sleep better.
Yeah. My grandpa can still get the job done from across the hall, though. Maybe
it's a byproduct of the fact that I am clearly the oldest person in this room right now.
You're older
And
than your
sleep has become, very much so, yes. Sleep has become a very important part of my life. And as you grow older, you become more jaded about certain things and the way that you want them.
Oh, I'm going to get worse? That's not encouraging.
Everybody gets worse at the things. If you're passionate about something now, it's going to be 10 times when you get married and you have kids.
You got a king size bed?
Yep.
California King?
California.
Yeah.
So what
No, we're
size?
shorties. It's 6 feet by 6 feet exactly.
It's a perfect square?
Yeah.
That's a king
Well,
bed.
no, I think it's like 78 by 72.
Because
so it's like
California
6.
Kings are just a little longer.
Yeah, so I think it's actually 6 foot by 6'4".
Okay.
6'6".
What are the size of the blankets? Are they king size blankets?
Mine's a queen, and hers is queen.
How do you make the bed?
We don't.
Oh, I respect that.
Yeah.
never make the bed?
So
I never make the
okay,
bed.
so this is a thing.
I don't ever.
I do not
secrets.
force my sons to make the bed. My wife and I do not make our bed.
David
What about when
Goggins
company's
says
coming
make the
over?
bed every
Then
morning
we
and
make
you'll
the
have a
bed.
good day.
Okay.
We definitely make the bed when company's coming over, but like people don't go in our bedroom, and if they do, our bed's unmade. Like who cares? What's wrong with you? The rest of our house
Yeah.
is nice. Like it's all clean.
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you? If you care that much, it's not
The
me.
Navy SEAL guy I saw on TikTok said you make your bed and then you've already won the beginning of the
So
day.
Yeah.
I have seen these. My wife will send these to me where it's like you have a 250% chance of a higher chance of being a millionaire when you're older if you make your kids make their beds.
I don't
And
buy
I
that.
go, I don't buy that.
You gotta teach them how to bet on sports
Yeah.
so you get rich kids.
All right. Well, to wrap up the show, I want to take a look at what's going on tonight. The Oilers taking on the Rangers, plus 110 dogs. Last podcast, we talked about how miserable my existence as a sports fan has been recently.
Yes.
You can parlay Oilers money line, Bills minus 10 at 3.92 to 1 on Betway. Come on.
Bills are playing who?
The Bucks.
Okay, so
Tonight, Thursday nighter.
So I thought about this one.
Minus 10?
I thought about this long and hard with the Bills.
Okay.
They came out of the gates 2-1. They had a really big win against a Miami Dolphins team that that should have been a lot closer. A 28-point win.
Torched them.
They, I feel like, got complacent and they started to do too much. And they've had 3 pretty bad losses in the last 4 games. Like losses.
They played bad 3 weeks in a row. Yeah.
Yes. I believe that under the bright lights, this is the get right week for the Bills. I've seen it coming because
Give it to me, Charles.
The Bucks have been playing out of their shoes too. Baker Mayfield is questionable for tonight. We don't know if he's starting. Mike Evans has been playing unbelievable. So I just don't think it's one of the, what did you say?
He said nothing. Keep going.
I believe it's one of those nights where the Bills come. I believe that by the third quarter, you're looking at this game and it is a 28-3 type of game.
Yes, Charles.
That's my gut. I could be
Voice
wrong.
cracked.
I hope I'm not.
Dog's gone.
Yeah, dog's gone. Job's done.
Dog's gone, job's done.
Talking dirty to me. I like it.
Yep. Dog's gone.
You see him
job's
vibrating
done.
over here?
I am, because I need it so bad. I need a good sports night so bad. I've been miserable the last little bit. I'm
Oilers
going
need
to the
win
game.
tonight. Just goddamn it.
We have fully in our house become an Arizona Diamondbacks team.
How could you
Because-
not be?
Well, this is the first baseball game my kids have ever gone to. Was in Arizona.
Yeah, there it is. That's all I
We
need.
bought all Arizona Diamondbacks gear, so we have it. They are now wearing it again. This team is the most lovable of teams. They are nobodies.
Yeah.
Like when you look at this roster, I mean, Evan Longoria didn't even know he was still in league. Lourdes Gurriel, like from the Blue Jays, gotta like him when he was there. Who is Ginkel?
I don't know.
Einhorn. Einhorn is Ginkel, and
Corbin-
Ginkel is Einhorn. But we
Who's
don't even know
Finkel?
this guy. Ginkel is a pitcher that is absolutely balls to the walls, nails, and if he was on any other team, he'd be a star, and he's not.
Corbin
wanna-
Carroll's sick.
I want to. You mentioned Evan Longoria.
Yeah.
I'm Desperate Housewives fan.
Or is that Eva? Eva Longoria?
Evil
That was
Longoria.
Eva Longoria.
Have you seen that video when he's doing the interview
And he catches the ball.
and they're doing batting practice and he just turns and
Yeah.
oh my god.
Did you see that
That's-
lady at the
hey.
baseball game wearing the Burger King crown and the home run fell right beside her face? She didn't even notice.
Dude, when you watch
She's
that,
like right against the fence.
When
She's
you
like
watch
this.
that video-
and the home run goes clink, and she doesn't even blink. And the caption's like, "Does she even know she's at a baseball
didn't
game?"
it look like she was protecting a kid from down there?
Well,
like-
yeah.
Because when the plate goes up, there's like a kid. I swear to God, there's like a kid.
You know that video's fake, right?
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it really?
The Longoria one?
Dude, it's like all those
With
fake
the
videos.
sideline
It's like
reporter?
all those. Remember those NFL fantasy football ones where it's like, like Cluey from the.
Oh, it's
Redskins
one of those,
punches
like
through
a
the drywall
fantasy?
and catches
Yeah.
it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's a fakie. I was wondering. Yeah, it was
Oh,
fake.
wow.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
I was duped by it for the longest time. And then someone said it to me, and I felt like, yeah.
Doesn't matter. He's still
Tyler,
cool.
is everything
Jake. Don't
good
let it.
fake?
oh man,
Yes.
Is it?
Hey, if you don't think it's fake, it's still good to you.
Texas Rangers had the opportunity to win their first ever.
I actually have like a,
World Series
if I could rattle off a quick baseball take on all this, this is the perfect World Series for diehard baseball fans of any team because it shows two things. If you're a fan of a small market team, it's like, you can do it. The Diamondbacks were dog shit a couple years ago. 2 years ago.
2 years ago, the Rangers lost 110 games
Yep.
and the Diamondbacks lost 102.
And how did they do it? The Diamondbacks redid their organizational philosophy, got some prospects, got some arms, boom, they're back. 9th lowest payroll in baseball. Texas went out and spent $500 million on their middle infielders alone.
Yeah.
Went out and got Max Scherzer at the deadline, did all this shit.
Nobody wanted Garcia. Nobody.
Yeah. Oh, Adolis. Yeah.
Anybody could have had this.
But
guy.
they went out
He's setting
and
records.
and the Rangers spent like crazy. So if you're a fan of the Toronto Blue Jays, who have a massive bazillionaire ownership group, there's your motivation right there. Go spend a ton of money. You can buy a World Series.
And
it is
Stephen
possible.
Cohen with the Mets can't get it done, even though he's flinging
That's 'cause
around
he's a
them
dummy.
walls.
Yeah.
What?
They're just cursed.
As I said, that's because he's a dummy.
What do you do? Tell me.
Well, just the players they sign are just ridiculous and terrible.
The Mets are cursed.
Didn't the Padres also spend a ton of money?
Yep.
The Padres have not. The Padres are becoming quickly the oldest team in sports not to have won a championship. 1968.
Also, have you heard the curse, or not the curse, the gift of the dead bird?
Yes.
The last time the Arizona Diamondbacks won a World Series, it was the year Randy Johnson killed that bird with a fastball. Earlier this year, a clip goes viral of Zack Kassian long tossing, and he hit a bird while he was long tossing and killed it.
The gift of the dead bird.
it's like the Viking
Snakes
gods
love dead
gotta make the
birds.
Sacrifice.
Diamondbacks.
Kind of
Anyways.
wish. Kind of wish.
Baseball's fun.
Kind of wish the Diamondbacks had better uniforms. Not gonna lie.
If they go back to their purples for the
I
World
don't like
Series,
snakes.
Pretty lame gray uniforms with just the word Arizona on their chest.
their homes are nice.
Pretty lame.
The whites?
And then I said that to my son. He's like, the Phillies is same. It's kind of lame. And I'm like, they got
Iconic.
pinstripes. That P is like iconic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, well, we can wrap it up. World Series gets going on Friday, and our friends at Betway. Who do you think's the favorite, Charles?
On what?
The World Series, to win the World Series?
Oh, the Rangers. Because they have home field advantage. They get 5 at home.
You see our boy
Diamondbacks
Mattress
get
Mac
3.
lost mad cheddar.
Did he?
7 million riding.
They are.
65 if they won the World Series.
Yeah, 3 games. 3 games in Texas. Next 2 go to.
No, it's 2-3-2. 2-3-2.
Oh, I thought it went 3-2-2.
I don't think so.
Okay, well, still Texas got home field advantage. Got to give them the favorite.
Diamondbacks are road dogs, though. That was impressive.
Bruce
Anyways,
Bochy.
gets going tomorrow. Betway 19 plus. Please play responsibly. Bruce Bochy has the biggest head in professional sports. 8 1/4 is his hat size.
Paris Hilton's son's head.
Okay.
That thing is a bucket.
All right. That is a wrap on this week's edition of the Pod. Heritage Classic Sunday. We didn't even talk about that, but we'll recap it all on Monday, I guess.
Yeah.
Frank Saravalli's in town.
It's supposed to be a nice day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another banged up crew.
Yeah. Monday, I'll be hungover Monday with you. So.
I don't know if I'm going to get after it on Sunday because, well, probably.
Shut up.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Come and join us pre-game, post-game, Greta.
Yep. So there is a bus coming that can take you to and from Greta, but it is first come, first serve. So if you're one of the people who was at our season launch party and you won your way to the Heritage Classic with us, you're good. Everyone else, if you want to come, have some drinks, have some bite to eat at Greta before, play some games, and then you can hop on a bus. It'll take you to and from the game, and
Or just come and hang out with us before the game anyways and post-game.
Yeah.
And if you've been living inside Commonwealth Stadium since the Elks season ended, avoiding security to get one free ticket, you're almost there.
And based
44 hours.
on the money you saved, actually kind of worth it.
Yeah.
All right, that's a wrap on this week's episode. See everybody Monday.
Shots fired.